Well, actually, let's talk a bit closer, a bit more about that with Jeff Green. He's our Bloomberg reporter in the Detroit bureau. And Jeff, GM just could not make this deal happen. Why?
It fell apart in the due diligence process. They didn't have enough time to get the due diligence done before the end of the year. At least that's what the people familiar with this process told us shortly before they announced that it was falling apart. Saab is something that, it's a brand they just wanted to get rid of. The bottom line, end of the day, GM needed Saab off its books.
Well, what is this wind down exactly going to look like? Do you know, Jeff?
Well, they've already done this, or are doing this, with Pontiac and Saturn. They will basically shut down production and transfer warranties and things like that to other GM dealers, and they'll maintain the existing vehicles, and they'll just stop selling them in the future. The dealers who sell only Saabs will get some kind of agreement, probably similar to what they've been doing. At least, I mean, that's what they've been doing. They've been giving agreements to the dealers to get them out. It remains to be seen what they'll do with Saab exactly, but that's what they've done with Saturn and Pontiac.
Jeff, what about the engineers at Saab, right? This is obviously a brand that has some talented people. What happens to all those names? Do they find a new home in GM, or where do they go from here, do you think?
Well, a lot of the engineering over time, which is one of the reasons Saab has become less of a valuable brand, has been centralized. The Saab vehicles now are pretty similar to Opels or Chevys or the other vehicles that are in GM's portfolio. Maybe the addition of a turbocharger, but beyond that, these are basically General Motors World vehicles. The engineering is in Rüsselsheim. Some of it's in Trollhättan, but a lot of it's in other cities. There's about 4,000 employees for Saab, and it's an open question as to what happens to them. But the engineering is basically stays with GM because it was with GM.
Hey, question for you, Jeff. Will parts continue to be made so that the existing Saab vehicles out there will be maintained in effect?
That's what's been happening, and like I said, a lot of these vehicles share parts already. In fact, most of their parts, except for the external stuff, with other vehicles. So General Motors will have those parts for a lot of these things, just doing regular business.
Okay, Jeff, thanks so much for joining us on a pinch there about GM and Saab. That was Jeff Green in our Detroit bureau.